station is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, this is station. We are ready for the event.
European Space Agency, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is ESA PAO Reinhold Ewald on the island of Mainau. How do you read me?
Insel Mainau, this is the International Space Station. I read you loud and clear. Hello, everybody.
Hallo Alex, einen herzlichen Gruß aus dem zauberhaften
Alman House. Hearty greetings from the wonderful Alman House, filled with students who have lots of questions for you. Okay, we have Graf Bernhard von Bernadotte. I greet you as well. I'm so happy this worked out, and we're happy that it's taking place on the island of Mainau, and that we are able to be part of this. I hope you've heard that Cologne has come to the head of the Bundesliga. What astonishes you most of all is my question. Yes, hello. Many thanks for this news. I did already know we are a little bit connected to Earth, so we get to watch the news. So, yeah, we do receive news in real time, good news and bad news. Thus, well, I think you know that when you have something, when you're in a certain situation and you can't get certain things, that's exactly what you want. And I would like to take a walk. I would like to have a salad, and these are things that you do without up here. And you realize that humans are social beings, but the good news is that we get to see a beautiful view of our planet. We have a lot of young questioners for you here. And the first one is going to be, I'm Gunnar Hartmann, I'm 16. What do you imagine in the year 2038 is going to be researched on the ISS? Wow, you start out with a really difficult question. Honestly, I would wish that at that time that we would be researching Mars, and that that we would bring back some rocks from Mars the way we did from the Moon, and we would be researching Mars, and that's a very important question. It seems as though Mars has a dense atmosphere, and it might be habitable, and that some we want to know how similar it is to Earth. In 20 years, we're going to be questioning things that we can't even imagine right now, and that's a good thing, because that's how the progress of science takes place. We don't even know what we're going to be looking for. And I believe that all of you down there are all at the right age to be trained, and it's going to be up to you to decide what is going to be researched, and we're in no way limited. Perhaps you yourself will become a researcher, and maybe you already have some idea of what you would like to look into. I would love to think of some of you becoming researchers and making some fantastic discoveries. Larissa, and I'm 16. And how have your duties changed now that you're commander? Well, there really is a little bit more to do if you're the commander here. I have a side job as well. That means, that's to say, I'm busy with experiments, and we're looking at the magnetic field of Earth. We're looking at our own bodies and our immune system. We're looking at the improvement of cancer medications. We look at cells through the microscopes we have on board, and we have more than 100 experiments, perhaps even more, 300 in all for this expedition. And of course, that's part of my job. And as commander, I have to see to it that the crew is doing well, and I have to organize certain things. And I have to make sure that we have everything, and that everything is in good working order. And if we have to do some maintenance work on certain things here, and that's up to me to take care of that. And I do notice the difference that my workload has increased, but it's okay because I'm really enjoying it. Hello. Okay, I'm Zachary Gobel, and I'm 12. And my question is, was this a childhood dream of yours to become an astronaut, or how did this happen for you? That's a question I often get asked, and I don't really know the answer. It's lucky that I found this particular job. I've always been fascinated with space, but ultimately, I think it was the other way around, that the profession chose me. I was doing things that prepared me for this. I think the most important thing I did, that my eyes and ears were open, and that I was always on the lookout for opportunities where my sixth sense told me this is it. And then and when it came along, I grasped the opportunity. I used to focus on volcanology. I was on a volcano in Antarctica, and it's kind of like connecting the dots. But I didn't start out exactly with that notion. And astronauts come from all different areas of study, but I'm also a pilot, but we have a physician on board, and this might be this is a good chance to introduce her, my Serena Chancellor. You can see what happens if you have long hair in space. I have short hair or no hair, and this won't happen to me, but this is my colleague from the US. She's a physician, Serena Chancellor.
Serena, how did you become an astronaut?
Hello and good morning. So I'm actually a physician, and I initially studied engineering in college and then went to medical school after that. And so I studied a couple fields of medicine, including aerospace medicine. It's interesting that in our astronaut class, we had people from several backgrounds: engineering, science, chemistry, medicine like myself, and even military test pilots. So there are many, many fields. Boys and girls, we all over the map. So it's not just one field that you need to go into. It could be anything.
Hello, I'm Nicholas. I'm 14. You orbit the Earth 16 times a day, and you see 16 sunrises and sunsets. How do you keep your circadian rhythm in order? That's Nicholas. That's a very good question. Indeed, we have 16 sunrises and sets. And if we looked out the window, we could see them all. Okay, you can't obviously go to sleep and get up that many times a day. We work according to the coordinate world time, which is Greenwich Mean Time. We get up around 6 to 6:30 and do have about a 12-hour workday. And we we communicate with ground control about 7:30 or 8. But Serena is just preparing a satellite that she's building it, and it's getting ready to be released into space.
For helping us out here. Let's be careful with your hair on the way out. And thanks for coming by.
Hannah, and 15. When you look at out at the Earth, do you see signs of global warming? And if so, what do you think the ISS could do to ameliorate that? Of course, climate change is something that you don't always see at first sight. And so that causes many people to ignore it or deny it and sort of push it away from themselves. And if I look out with my own 2 eyes at the Earth, I do see some changes, but I can't technically say that, yes, this is climate change. But I do see that glaciers are growing smaller, and I can see that some alpine glaciers and glaciers in New Zealand are growing smaller, and I can see that clearly. And I can see areas that are more affected by drought. But we have to rely on common sense as well as science. And scientists say, yes, this is going to continue to happen if we don't do anything about it. Of course, we have a lot of satellites in space, so we get a better picture of how this change is taking place. And we have ESA has a whole fleet of satellites. We have drought sensors, things that measure the size of the ocean, and we have a whole spectrum of ways of observing this. And so we try to understand this phenomenon. In my particular case, as a human being, I see a different perspective, and that's true of anyone who has the opportunity of seeing the planet from up here. And we see how small it is. And we see how very, very thin the atmosphere of our planet is. And so if we have exhausts and CO2 and methane, we damage it even more. And that's something that we see much better from up here. We have some some idea of how much humans contribute to CO2. And we know that volcanoes also change climate. It's really astonishing how much we are doing to damage this. And when we see it up here, it's really obvious, and it's astonishing to me that we are doing so little to do anything about it.
I have seen a lot of girls here in the audience who really liked what she was saying, and they want to be in her place. Next question, nächste Frage.
Hallo, mein Name ist Jasmin und ich bin 17 Jahre alt.
My name is Jasmine, and I'm 17. And I'm interested in knowing what you can do about space debris in the future. Of course, this is a very big problem that you're addressing. We're all concerned very much about it at ESA. and it's a growing problem. From the ISS, we've been we've had to do some evasive maneuvers with the ISS to avoid getting hit by space debris. There are some problems that we know about and some that are not so well known, and it's the same. The same is true of all the satellites up there. And it's very important that we don't add to the problem of debris. So everything that we have up here, that we take everything back down to Earth. In other words, we leave nothing up in space when we leave. Either put it in a different orbit so it doesn't bother anyone, or we take it with. But the debris that's already here, we have to think of ways to collect it. And we have some ideas, but it's not just debris, but we're also thinking about asteroids and comets. And we've had cases of an asteroid or meteorite that buzzed between Earth and the Moon, and it's 100 meters wide. And we hardly even noticed it. It was so fast. And we're concerned about Earth getting hit by one of those. And we studied that under the topic of space safety. And we're looking for very clever boys and girls who are interested in dealing with this problem. And when you grow up, when you finish school, maybe you can apply at ESA. We have two more clever boys and girls on the stage here. First question. I'm Elsa. I'm 17. Do some problems on Earth seem trivial now that you're up there, now that you have a distant view from Earth? Of Earth? Oh, how can I say this? I don't actually think that a problem is smaller than it is. Of course, the problems are the same. Everybody who has a problem thinks that that problem is important, and I don't want to diminish those problems. But one thing that I do see is the overall picture. And that gives me the chance to categorize or prioritize problems. And there are some things that I thought were important, and now that I look at it from up here, it doesn't seem so important. And there are some problems that are extremely important, and one of those is that we don't have a planet B. We have to do the best with what we have on planet A. And climate is just things regarding the climate change are just getting worse. And we have to adapt to the changes that are happening. And that is a problem. That's a problem that's much more visible from up here. And we can't just erosion and deforestation, and that's something that you have a better perspective of up here. For me personally, some problems I had on Earth, I don't see them as so terribly important as I did before. Hello. Okay, I'm Michael, and I'm 15. Do you think there will be a manned Mars mission soon? And other than funding, what could stand in the way of such a mission? I'm an optimist. Just like the people who planned and built the space station, and they had to face many skeptics and who said, "Oh, this project will never work, and it's much too complicated, and people are coming from different continents, and this is never going to happen." And now here we are. and we're exactly in this space station. It's a fabulous machine. And the same is true of future missions. A mission to the moon, the space station orbiting Gateway, orbiting the moon. And when it comes to Mars, people say, oh, that'll never happen. I'm not going to be influenced by those. If I did that, then I wouldn't have come here. And so I do believe that a Mars mission will take place in the next decade or two. We have to learn first how we will survive for longer and farther out in space. And this is what we do here, and it's with a machine that was built mainly in Germany, and that is teaching us how to live for longer, survive longer periods in space. And of course, when you have a planned mission, a problem could crop up, and that could problems that we have to overcome before we make it happen. But ultimately, there is nothing that should stand in the way of such a mission. I don't think anything is going to keep mankind from exploring further. And we are explorers, and we have hundreds of thousands of years. And now in the last 50 years, the first generations of space travelers came about. And this was, we're not going to go back now that we've started our exploration away from Earth. And there's nothing stop us, mankind, from landing on Mars. And perhaps one of you guys over there will be one of the first. Well, Graf Jan and where the palm trees are swaying from all the applause. Thank you very much. I really enjoyed it talking to all of you. There's one more thing I want to say that's very important to me. Perhaps you're asking yourself, how can I get to a profession such as astronaut or engineer? And I want to say how important it is that you choose a profession based on your desire to explore things and not be talked out of it. And you can see me up here as an astronaut. Some of you might think I'm some kind of superhero, and here I am. And I almost had to repeat a grade because I was so bad in English. And so that was just really a minor crisis, and that didn't keep me from realizing my dream. And maybe you have people, grown-ups in your environment, who try to talk you out of your dreams, and you have to follow your own inner feeling. And look left and right. Look at the other people in that hall there. And don't forget that each one of you has a talent that allows you to do something better than anybody else. And that's important to discover, and that you go in that direction and find a profession that is fun to you and something that you're good at. And that, I think, is the most important thing. Otherwise, that's the only way you can find a path that will make you happy. Otherwise, many thanks. It was fun talking to you, and bye from the space station.
This is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you, Alex, European Space Agency, and participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.